I'm not to do all of them. Which are the ones I'll be most excited for? So I actually start off with that New Orleans Pelicans and that OKC Thunder matchup. Actually no. Here's what we're gonna do. We're actually not gonna talk about the we're not gonna talk about the first and second seeds because the play in hasn't happened and things can go awry. So we're not gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about the ones that are guaranteed set series right now, which will be the Clippers and the Mavericks. And so we'll start there. So Clippers and Mavericks will be matching in the playoffs for the third time in 5 years. Everybody knows the Clippers are 2-0. They they beat them in the bubble. They beat them the following year. They beat them in the bubble, I think, in 7 games. They beat them the following year again, I believe, in 7 games, or maybe it was 6 games, or maybe it was reversed. Who the hell knows? I don't remember. But things are completely different this time, though. Things are completely different. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Mavericks are coming off being the hottest team in basketball over the course of the ever since the trade deadline. I was on this podcast saying that I believe they were the winners of the trade deadline. I think that with them bringing in PJ, then bringing in Daniel Gafford, it really opened up the game for Luka in a way that's never been opened before. Like, I think that for the first time ever, they surround him with pieces that actually fit him as a player and fit his skill set. And like, they only brought players that they didn't bring players that, like, so before they had players like Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is the kind of guy who wants the ball at the top of the key one couple times in the game just to ISO and run the offense. Like, no, there's none of that this year. They don't have any. There's no Jalen Brunson who needs the ball in his hands. They have Luka Doncic, who is their point guard, their distributor, their main scorer, all that good stuff, and they have a bunch of complementary scorers and shooters around him. But they have the best co-star in the NBA in Kyrie Irving. We're going to talk about Kyrie a little bit later. They have Tim Hardaway Jr. who's still a knockdown shooter. They have Gafford. They have PJ. They have Dante Exum, who's having a career year. Like, this team has been firing on all cylinders, and they were a team that was fighting for a play-in spot just a couple of weeks ago. And then, some great basketball later. Now they are safe of all, safe of the play-in. They're able to get this week off break, and they're going to be matching up with the Clippers, who are a team that right now has been playing better basketball, but they have the ultimate question mark, a question mark that is there for every single season, which is the Kawhi Leonard injury. And there are people saying that he has real significant swelling in that knee, and there's a real doubt for him to miss the first game of the series. And if you ask me, man, it's just like, here we go again, man. It's the same old nonsense that it always is when it comes to the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? They'll start off, relatively exciting. They'll get your hopes up, make you feel good about them. But you always know there's that possibility for either just somebody to start playing like dog shit in the case of James Harden, or there's the injury bug. Paul George had to deal with it a little bit earlier this year. And now it's Kawhi's time at the absolute worst time. And I think that like, going into this series, the Magic have to be licking their chops, because they're like, listen, we could be looking at a situation where we have but they can definitely see a path for them to make the conference finals, because if they do defeat the Clippers in round one, then they're matching up with either the Pelicans or the Thunder in round two. And I think that as much as I love the Thunder, and as much as the national media seems to hate the Thunder and give them no chance of accomplishing anything, I think that in that series, playing against Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and just as like this new look Golden State, this new look Dallas Mavericks team, I think it's a real chance for them to upset the Thunder. We're going to have to see really how the Thunder look in that first round series, because a lot of people don't believe in the Thunder. They think that they're just too young, too inexperienced. I'm not one of those people. I think that they're extremely talented, and I already talked about it a couple episodes ago, the things that I like about the OKC Thunder. They are incredibly consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not a team that's been kind of like on a high streak, and then they go through a couple of they go through a mini losing streak. They've been a team that's really been rattling off wins over the course of the entire year. And they did have a couple of, they had a little moment there where Shea was injured and they started dropping a couple games. But outside of that, they've been a model of consistency the entire season. But, I'm saying, going into that matchup against Dallas, there's a real chance where, you rely on J-Dub to be your second guy, but there's a guy who he's matching up with is Kyrie Irving, NBA champion, who's perennially can be one of the most dangerous players in a playoff series, just at the drop of a hat. I'm saying? Everybody knows in the 2016 finals, he struggles with the first 4 games of those series, but the last 3, he's an absolute monster, dropping 40-point games. He's hitting game-winning shots. So I just think that is a real chance that the Mavericks can set a lane for themselves if they're able to get past the Clippers in the first round. And then as for the Clippers, we talked about their injury. They have been playing better, though, ever since Russell Westbrook did come back off his injury. They've been playing back with more energy. Like, I think that the thing that kind of had me even believing in the Clippers in that first half of the season was the fact that just like of how excited they played, of the energy they played. Like they weren't just like squeaking out games. They weren't just barely beating teams. They were beating teams pretty handily, and they were looking very good doing it. The offense was humming at a very good pace. You had Russ able to do his thing running up the court. Kawhi was getting easy shots. Paul George was, I believe, he was shooting like 45% from three at one point in the season. And those things, they're hard to maintain. But even after the lull they went through towards in the middle of the season, I think them coming back now and them getting healthy at the right time will do wonders for them. And I think that for the what's this, the third time in 5 years, they're going to be going into a series where they're like, hey, are we going to have our best guy? Is he going to be around? And I think the difference they have here is that instead of them just having a very good supporting cast, just last year, before when they were hurt, they were bringing out guys like Lou Will, Montrez, Pat Bev. They have legitimate Hall of Fame players now that can actually come out and actually spell Kawhi Leonard for a couple of games if he does need to miss a game or two. But I think in the long run, them not having Kawhi Leonard in the series is gonna be fatal for them. That will ultimately be, if Kawhi Leonard cannot play in this series, there's no chance they have a beat in the Dallas Mavericks. They already struggled to guard Luka when Kawhi Leonard is out there. I believe that Luka averages damn near a 30-point triple-double when he plays against the Clippers, just entire for his career. But I think them not having Kawhi Leonard, I don't think there's, at that point you're relying on Paul George and Amir Coffey to kind of get you stops on Luka. And everybody knows how great Luka is at getting to the basket and kind of just creating things for himself. And no Kawhi, no chance, man. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's not really any other way to put it. No Kawhi, no chance. So, for right now, if I'm going to predict that series, I'm going to say Mavs in probably 6. If there's no Kawhi, though, I'll probably go Mavs in 5. I hate to sound like I'm disrespecting the Clippers. They are still a good team. Russ, they got PG, they got Harden. But them not having the head of their snake, man, really makes them a very beatable team. But we saw last year that when Kawhi went out, Russell Westbrook was able to kind of take it to the next gear. So maybe if Kawhi goes out, they slide Russ into that starting point guard position or starting shooting guard position, and he's able to kind of make things interesting, win them a couple games. But I think in the long run, they're not able to beat Dallas Mavericks without Kawhi Leonard.